You know, it's no surprise if I tell you I am bullish on the printed magazines. In fact, I only call them magazines if they are printed, otherwise I call them magazine media. But you don't have to take my word for it. You don't even have to take the word of any media pundit or reporter or analyst. People who know more about printed magazines are those who actually publish those magazines. So for this segment of the Mr. Magazine Minute, I decided to interview 5 top executives and ask them their opinions about why they are bullish on printed magazines. You will see from their answers that I'm not alone. That those people are as bullish about the future and the power of the printed magazine as I am, and much more. So without any further ado, they are in alphabetical order: Mary Berner, the Chief Executive Officer of the MPA, the Association of Magazine Media; David Carey, the President of Hearst Magazines; Steve Lacy, the Chief Executive Officer of the Meredith Corporation; Bob Sauerberg, the President of Condé Nast; and Skip Zimbalist, the Chief Executive Officer of Active Interest Media. I hope you'll enjoy this little segment about bullish on printed magazine, and feel free to get in touch with me if you have any questions or comments. You can always reach me at samir.husni@gmail.com. Thank you and enjoy the show. I mean, as the head of the MPA, what do you think is the role of the printed magazine in this digital age?
I think the printed magazine is a completely unique experience. There's nothing like it. It's a unique, as you know, lean-back experience. It's uniquely immersive, and as we see from the research with college-age kids, is that shows that college-age kids love print magazines. That it's something that is like nothing else. So it will complement and supplement the digital experience. There are some consumers that will always want to read that magazine in print. There are some that want to read it in print, on mobile, on tablet, look at the websites, but the print, I think, remains the anchor of the experience.
If you can separate your role as the head of the MPA and think more of a magazine publisher, are you bullish on the future of our industry?
Yeah, I'm extremely bullish because I think we have key assets that are important in this kind of a wildly competitive market, in that we've got brand relationships. And so when you think about other media, you think about television, you think about music, ABC is not a brand, and NBC is not a brand. People go and watch programming, so they'll watch the program on any platform. People go and seek out the magazine brand. They go and look for Vogue on every platform. They go and look for Cosmopolitan on every platform. So that relationship with the consumer, I think, in this kind of digital explosion, is what's going to be the most important. So those are great assets because you've got that relationship. So it gives you permission to do pretty much anything.
Thank you. David, I mean, you have 2 magazines like the Food Network and HGTV that have increased their rate base. In the case of the Food Network, I believe like 11 times in the last 5 years, and HGTV in the last 2 years.
If we could do it more than twice a year, we could, but I think we could only do it, every 6 months.
So do you think there's a future for the printed magazine?
Absolutely. Despite what maybe some of the digital naysayers have to say, people love magazines, and they love them in their ink on paper version. They, of course, love them also in their new digital formats. But we live in this on-demand world, and there's nothing more satisfying than going to the newsstand about a subject area that you're passionate, and you literally own it right then. You take it home, you get to devour it, and that will never change.
Steve, tell me, why are you so bullish about the magazine industry and print in general?
Yeah. I'm really so bullish because I see an amazing opportunity to support the consumer, especially the Gen Y consumer, that is very, very engaged. As a cook, as a gardener, as a home enthusiast, she wants the print product for relaxation when she finally gets the kids in bed. She wants the digital property for taking action, and she wants the mobile property when she's engaged at retail and ready to make a buy. And we need to be there with our curated content and support her needs as a home enthusiast.
So you don't believe in digital first?
I believe in all platforms all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How bullish are you on the future of the printed magazines in this digital age?
So our strategy is to build brands, and our brands start with our magazines. And print has never been more vital. Consumers tell us every day through all of our business channels, from subscriptions to retail, that they want print, they love it, and they are actually willing to pay more for it, which is an important part of our strategy long term. So I'm very bullish on what our brands can be in all platforms, but it all starts in print, and I think that's the biggest part of our business. I think it will be probably forever, and I think that the potential on top of print to build our brands in digital, on websites, and in video is also significant, and the growth for that will be an accelerator of real stability in the print business.
So do you think it's a mistake to go with a digital first strategy for magazine
No, I think
media
it's a
companies?
brand first strategy. So we start with our brands, which are foundation. Their foundation is in print, and we're taking the DNA of the uniqueness of the brand in that content and going into these other platforms. So I wouldn't characterize us as digital first. I characterize us as brand first, and we're trying to be, the best at every platform that we publish.
Thank you. Do you think there's any future for printed magazines in this digital age?
Absolutely, and it's when we look at our readers who are passionate about what they do. They're boaters, they're yoga enthusiasts, they're horseback riders. They love print, and that's not to say that we don't have a lot of people who enjoy digital, but it's a relatively small percentage right now. It's about 6% on average in our group. Some are as high as 8%, some as low as 4%, and it's growing maybe 1 or 2% a year. But these are new people coming into the industry. The existing readers love print, and we find that most of the digital readers who are coming in, over 80% of them, have never subscribed to the magazine and have never been a newsstand buyer of the magazine. So these are brand new people coming in. And so I think there's certain formats that really lend themselves to print, especially those that have a lot of lush photography in them, those that long-form journalism, those that have a lot of advice and how-to, I think are lend themselves to print. So I'm very optimistic about it, and we see our audience in print stable. We don't see our audiences going down, and so I'm optimistic, and I think when television came in, people said it's the death of radio. Well, radio's still here, and it's doing very well, thank you. And I think print magazines are going to be here 20 years from now and doing very well as well.
As a leader in the industry and a publisher of a lot of specialized magazines, do you think that's the future? There's no room for mass print magazines?
I'm not going to say that, but I'll say that when I was putting AIM together, that's the place I chose to concentrate on. And even within the specialty magazine or the enthusiast magazine sector, there's the question always of what I call brand width. And if you have a magazine, how wide can the brand be and still be relevant to readers? And an easy example would be, can you have a skiing magazine combined with a snowboarding magazine? No, you can't. It's two different cats, and if you did that, then half of the people who were reading the magazine would find half of the content not relevant to them. Can you have a saltwater fishing magazine and a freshwater fishing magazine? No, you can't. Those are two different things. So there's always this tension between getting wider and getting a bigger audience, but getting so wide that the passion and the average avidness of the reader declines as you get too broad. And I frankly, when I look at competitors and I see them going big, I say, there goes another competitor, because I know they're not going to be in business very long, and that's typically the case. But I also think it's important in the advertising world, because if you are going after general advertisers who are just trying to reach a very broad demographic, males 18 to 25 or females 25 to 34, there are a million ways that those advertisers can reach that audience. Whereas if you are trying to sell a backpack, there's really only one magazine that you can go to reach backpackers. Or if you're trying to reach yoga enthusiasts, there's really only one magazine. And so the balance of power between the publisher and the advertiser is a lot more even in niche magazines than they are in general interest magazines.
Thank you.
Yeah.